You know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Well, I don't know about you, OB, but typically 8 runs, 5 home runs, and serviceable/adequate pitching would result in a win. The only problem with that was the other team hit 5 home runs.
Yeah.
The other team had a guy hit 3. The other team in Vanderbilt, at the end, when things got tight, they got better.
Yeah, and A&M didn't.
I hate losing, bro.
Oh, I do too. Look, at one point, A&M was down, I think 6-1. They cut it to 6-5. I'm thinking, okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. They're back in the game. Then they got down like 9-5. But then they cut it to 9-8, and it's, I think it's going into the 9-8 in the 7th going, and I'm thinking they get them out, so they don't score on top of the 7. I think, look, you got 3, 4, and 5 coming up.
Yeah.
They're going to get the lead and bring in fresh corn, and they're going to win this game. And A&M goes 3 up, 3 down, and I think they get 1 hit in the final 3 innings. Meanwhile, the pitching kind of collapses, and the defense wasn't very good. Well, and it all adds up to 14-8 loss.
And you also can't start off games the way you started off again. We were discussing Shane Sadeo. Like, there were moments in that game, they were sprinkled in really good moments and really bad moments, and they could happen from a pitch to the next pitch.
Yeah. It was feast or famine, because sometimes he's just making great. Look, he had 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. 10. And that's a good Vanderbilt lineup. And he has 10 strikeouts in 5 innings. But he also, gave up 4 home runs in 5 innings, 3 home runs. He gets a strikeout, I think. Was it a strikeout to open the game? And then the next guy, home run. And then gets the next guy out, and then the next home run. I don't think the defense helped. Sometimes, in my opinion, they got base hits that were errors. They should have been errors. Yep. I guess they didn't get the glove on the ball. Kay Bickham was explaining to me if they don't touch the ball with their glove, they're not going to give them an error probably. And I'm like, but what if the ball is hit right at you and you just play matador and
maybe not in the stat book, but in the coaching handbook, it's definitely an error.
In my mind, there's a couple like that. And they had a chance for a double play. They throw the ball into the outfield. It was bad defense, erratic pitching, and not enough offense.
And Coach Earley yesterday kind of hinted that he may have to figure out something different with the rotation. I don't know what, though. It's not like they have a lot of options.
I think the kids at Sims
move up to Friday.
Yeah, I think he's been their most consistent guy.
Yeah,
but and I say that, and you look at Sadeo last night with, again, 10 strikeouts, and not a lot of help from his defense. Right? Think about that: 15 outs and 10 were strikeouts. So you're thinking it's those 1 or 2 meatballs that you're serving up that you had. You throw so many good pitches, and then it's that one. You know what it reminds me of? It reminded me of the Texas A&M run defense in football.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of
really good.
And really good, and then okay, there you go. Right.
Robert Henry, 75 yards. So
last night, I can't remember the guy's name, who was the number 2 hitter for Vanderbilt, who had 3 home runs. And the 4th one was robbed by Sorrell.
Well, I think Sadeo in SEC play has got a 9.47 ERA. I think that's right. Look, buddy, I'm just curious. Look, the baseball bunch guys are probably right now listening to us saying, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking. You know what I know?
I know they lost 14-8.
I do know that. And by the way, those guys know baseball. I watch baseball. I enjoy it. They know baseball. But I want to know, like, what the options are. Because what would this team look like with average starting pitching?
I don't know. You probably had a couple more wins. Like, could have won last night. You could have won in Oklahoma. At least one. One you probably should have anyway.
And then instead of being 5-5,
you know, if
7-3,
7-3, then you're feeling really good. Maybe even 8-2.
And here's the hard part, because there have been moments where Sadeo looks pretty damn good, and there's been moments where Weston Moss looks pretty damn good.
Sometimes those moments were with Sadeo last night, where, like you said earlier, they were pitch to pitch.
Yeah. Look, I want it to work out for that kid. I want it to work out for this team, but at this rate. This is who they are at this point, right? They're a team that, if they can mash their way to more than 5 home runs, apparently, they got a chance to beat you. If they can navigate the early innings, does the bullpen give you enough? Yesterday, it was kind of both. You struggled early, you struggled late.
Yeah, and the bullpen outside of Fresh Corn last night was just highly ineffective. Got to get some... You got to get some guys on base for all those home runs, you know.
Well,
it was. Look, okay, win 2 today.
Oh, then we feel great,
and we feel great because
it is a roller coaster.
We didn't say we expected to sweep Vanderbilt. Said we need to win the series,
but it is just a little harder on the. You know, when you lose the first one.
Sure, it is.
It would feel a lot better if they won the first one, but it's okay. You know, maybe we can find out about the wind. You know, maybe the wind will help.
Last night seemed like just the perfect scenario for a lot of home runs, right?
Yeah.
If the wind was blowing, it was blowing out, and then you had some, again, for both sides, some erratic pitching and, you know, some big, strong guys, and 10 home runs.
Stop me if you've heard this before. Jorian Wilson, a home run. Again. Is it 4 out of 5 games? Am I right about that?
Yeah, and you know what? He got... There was one he got under, and he hit it. I don't want to say completely opposite field, but it was more into left center.
Yep.
And he missed that home run probably because it looked like it might have came off the handle, and he's so strong it went to the wall.
Yeah.
I thought it might drift out.
Stop me if you've heard this before.
Okay.
Caden Sorrell's a monster.
He is with his glove and with his bat. The first home run that. Of the game, that the kid, I can't remember his name, but he's the number 2 hitter. I thought Sorrell robbed him.
Yeah.
I thought and then, got over. And then later, the same kid had one, and I thought it was out, and Sorrell went and got it.
Yep.
And then he hits 2 home runs. I wonder how many games he's had 2 home runs. You know what else I wonder? I wonder what opponents' batting averages is with 2 strikes. Or how many home runs were hit against A&M with 2 strikes? Seems like they're always on the brink of getting out of something.
You know, Obi, I probably shouldn't bring this up on the air.
Okay.
But this is what I do. When I think it, I say it.
This is a job.
All right. And I'm not going to go too deep into this.
All right.
But you got an email. I got an email on etiquette on the message boards.
Right.
Okay. I didn't read what you said, or I skimmed it. Okay. This is what I'm going to say about my moderation policy.
Okay.
Okay. Just don't make it personal, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anything was personal. I don't. What I read didn't seem personal. But if you're going to talk about a student athlete, a coach, a human being, I just ask from my perspective, and I'm sure there's deeper things. Just don't make it personal. You don't have to use an F-bomb. You don't have to talk about somebody's weight. You don't have to talk about, that's for me. That's how I would, in any conversation or moderation, just don't make things personal.
Right. If you want to say Shane Sadeo should be the Friday night starter because...
It's worthy of a conversation.
I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
If you want to say, he's so-and-so is this, and his, and his mom is this, No.
And I'm not saying I read any of that. I'm just, they asked what my moderation policy would be. just don't be ultra mean.
And here's this is going to be a very unpopular take among coaches and moms and dads and everything. But in today's college athletics, I think the players I think it's okay to. Now I don't think you attack anybody personally, but it's okay to criticize players more than you used to. Why? Because they get money now.
Yep.
And it used to be, well, they're not professionals. Well, now they are.
Look, I'm a big believer in talking about the entire story, okay?
Okay.
And not necessarily zero targeting on one moment because you don't know the next phase of the chapter, okay? The next chapter in the story. For instance, I'm going to use Dirk as my example because I worked for the Mavs for a long time, okay?
Oh, okay. That Dirk, yeah.
I'm going to use him because...
I thought you meant Dirk Diggler.
No, well, we'll talk about him later.
Reese over there has no idea what I'm talking about.
You don't know Dirk Diggler? No. Google search.
Okay, Dirk Nowitzki.
Please put safe. Nick's covering his face. Anyway, really put safe, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Actually, don't Google it. Just move on. Nobody listening, Google that. There's kids at home. Don't Google it.
It's a character in a movie that was very popular about 20 years ago.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, Dirk Nowitzki.
Did you see it? No. Good. Don't.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki. All right, sorry. Back to the topic at hand. I covered him. I worked with him. And I remember a lot of the strays that he got, and people made it personal when they lost to the Miami Heat in the 2006 NBA Finals. Really? Yeah, part of that was because Dwayne Wade got every call known to man.
Oh, the officials swallowed their whistle.
Yeah, but and he's got a glass jaw. He'll never win an NBA championship. He is not a leader of a team. The next year...
Was Nico Harrison doing that?
Well, thank goodness. It was Donnie Nelson who had a little more... understood basketball a little bit more. But
no, I'm sorry, maybe Nico was the one posting that.
Oh, yeah, it might have been Nico. But, and then the next year, they win, I believe, I don't know if they won 70, but they were 68, 69 wins, whatever it was, okay? One of the best seasons in NBA history. First round, they lose to the 8th seed Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
People wanted to kill Dirk. They, not like literally, but like and they made it personal. They made it about his personal life. They made it about the way he looked, his character. What did Dirk do in 2010?
They won the NBA championship, and he led the way.
Yeah. I am not comparing Shane Sadeo to Dirk Nowitzki. Please understand, or anybody, right? What my point is, did Dirk's character become all much better when he won those NBA championships? Or the NBA championship, the one?
No. The perception, but...
but the personal part,
no.
It's the same guy.
Yeah.
So just don't make it personal.
Right,
That's it.
Right. And quite frankly, again... He had 10 strikeouts through 5 innings. And his defense did not help him very much.
And I'm just saying in general, though, like if you're talking about
but there were some meatballs.
A football coach, a basketball coach, a women's basketball, anybody, like that, to the moderation thing, I just don't want it to be personal. And that's it. Move on.
Yeah, you should be able to, if you have an opinion on the team in terms of strategy or things like or that and questioning somebody's decision.
Yeah,
I think you should be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we are a sports talk show.
I don't have to agree with your opinion, but as long as you're not, like you said, being abusive and vulgar and things like that, why you should be able to express an opinion.
I didn't say anything vulgar yesterday. I do see a lot of vulgar things on football game days.
Well,
and so I've tapped out. I get out. Like I used to post and ghost, and then I'd be like, oh, I got an alert. Let me see. I wish I didn't read that. Now I don't even post. I'm just a ghost.
He's the ghost with the post, from coast to coast,
the
host with the most.
How did that Google search go? Nothing.
I'm hungry for roast.
Yeah. Just making sure.
67 wins.
67 wins. Thank you very much. Not Dirk Diggler. Let's go tell the people the show we're listening to. This is TexAgs Nights.
TexAgs Live.
Oh, yeah. You got that?
Yeah.
We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Gem of a guy.
Yeah. And this is the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason, Jackson, Keith, Morgan, and boys. In fact, I sent him an email to Morgan earlier saying, hey, we need to meet. Maybe, see. Did
you spell it with an A?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Because he likes to go there.
Well, that's true, but no, for business purposes.
Yeah, you can do business there.
Well, I know, but just
saying. We are hanging out where?
In the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
That is right. Jason and Taylor were here the other day. It was good to catch up with those guys. And let's see.
Jason Taylor was here?
No, Jason and Taylor.
Okay.
Jason and Taylor.
Well, you know, with Looch and all of his
Buppies Catering
celebrity
and
bartending.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where else were we?
I think we're getting to Buppies.
The Hour.
The Go Hour.
Presented by?
The Warehouse at CC Creations.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do it multiple ways. Just keep it don't make it personal.
Yeah.
Call us where?
At the Buppies. He's a personal guy.
He is great.
Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline.
Buppies Catering Bartending Hotline. You can also text us on
What's the number?
Oh, that's an easy number.
Yeah.
979
693
1150.
Yes, sir.
And then you could text that number. But then we changed the name of it because that's what marketing does. And we text that called the what?
The Catalyst Pure Performance Energy Text Line, PPE.
PPE. We got to make a shirt that says that. A lot of shirts.
Yeah, PPE.
PPE. Let's go around the room, left to right, behind the glass, through the television, and talk to the upcoming play-by-play man of the year, Nick Savage.
He knows who Dirk Diggler is.
Did you?
I don't actually.
Oh my God! What's wrong with you people?
But I have safe search turned off back here, so I'll look it up for
No,
the entire
don't look it up.
entire room. There's
It's not that
4
bad.
young
Don't
ladies
look at the
behind
very
me.
end of the
There's-
movie scene. Don't.
Okay,
That's all I'm
gotcha.
saying. Do not.
Gotcha. But anyways, about the game last night, 2 things. One, if you look at the box score, man, obviously A&M scored 8 runs, but 6 of those 8 hits on the night come from 3 guys: Caden Sorrell, Jorian Wilson, and Bear Harrison. They all had really good nights, and the rest of the lineup. Grahovac got a single, Jake Dewar with a hit. Got to find some more people to step up, and especially if these are going to be high offensive games like they're turning out to be. And another thing, you used 7 arms last night, and Cade back here made a really good point. With today moving to a doubleheader, Aiden Sims is up 2 days on his normal routine. So I wonder how much that will play a factor. Maybe not at all. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe it does play a factor. But that kind of has me a little nervous for Game 2 of today's doubleheader. But I do think I'm not worried about the offense. They can keep up. That's for sure. We've seen that.
I think we need to introduce Coach Earley to Cade Bickham. He's a pitcher.
The guy was like
strikes.
club baseball pitcher of the year or something, right?
He can throw strikes.
He
Coach.
doesn't panic on the mound. He's just
He only panics when he's in charge of the show.
yeah. He actually hasn't panicked in like 2 years, but
I know.
we can't get rid of that.
That's what happens at TexAgs. You find a weakness once, and they'll squeeze it like a lemon for all the juice they can get out of it.
Hey, also, can I just say that before yesterday, Aggie baseball was playing really good. Yeah. So like everyone's like, we're jumping off cliffs. They had won quite a few in a row.
Right. So when today?
They've lost 6 games.
Yes.
They've lost 6 games on the year.
They had won 6 games leading into that. So, in a row, I should say. Let's go check in again with Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. What's up, Mr. Boogie Nights?
Doing pretty good. How are y'all?
I'm well, sir. Talk to me.
So we actually had some good things happen on the diamond last night in softball as the number 15 Texas A&M softball team knocked off number 11 Georgia in Thursday's series opener 3-2 thanks to an RBI pinch hit single with 2 outs from Maddie Sawney, bringing home Kelsey Mathis in the bottom of the 6th inning. Sydney Lessentine improved her record to 10-3 overall after tossing 6 innings, allowing only 2 runs on 4 hits with 6 strikeouts. Maya Perez and Michaela Wark got the offense out to a 2-0 lead thanks to RBI singles in the bottom of the 3rd. Due to inclement weather, they also moved up their series. They will play 2 games today, with Game 1 starting at 4 p.m. and Game 2 beginning 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1.
I applaud the softball team. They're playing really good.
Yeah.
They're playing really well.
And after losing a couple 1-run games, they win a 1-run game. So let's go.
Yeah, losing's never good. But I'm going back to that previous series. When you lose 1-run games on the road to the national champion, I think they're ranked number 1, but that doesn't sting as much, especially when you go back. And I know the team would agree with this and say those 2 losses, a lot of the damage was self-inflicted.
Yeah.
There's a lot they can clean up and be better, and they know it.
Can I read this from Chet on the YouTube page?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Chet says, my wife, who never watches TexAgs Live, well, that's a mistake. Just kidding. Except on her days off from work, just saw OB and said, is he supposed to look like Jesus? Or maybe he means Jesus. Because there's a guy next door who looks kind of like you.
Thank you.
Happy Good Friday, everybody.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Wait, can I have no meat?
I wish I acted more like Jesus.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Let's you know what? Let's break bread together.
Yes, let's do.
Let's have
some manna from heaven.
Yeah, let's have.
No, I'd rather, you know what's better than manna from heaven?
Lunch?
Barbecue from 1775.
Is better
than manna? Manna? Do you want? When was the last time you ate manna?
Never.
I think I had some manna pudding. But no. You know what?
I don't.
If I was having lunch with Jesus today, I'd say, hey, let's go to 1775. It'll save you from your hunger.
He could probably just clap and boom.
Yeah, that's right. He'd bring 1775 to us, and he'd bring that succulent brisket and those amazing pork ribs, that great jalapeno cheese sausage. You know, he was a carnivore.
Yeah. He'd say, this is just like heaven.
Heck yeah, he would. Sorry. Especially when he had the queso mac and cheese.
Maybe we should just move on.
We probably should.
Sorry. Oh, heavens. Oh, it is 17.
So today, go have a good lunch on Good Friday.
That's right. A good lunch on a Good Friday at 1775txbbq.com or call them up. 979-492-6241.
It's 1775, and it's good.
Jesus Christ is good. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports. And they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is at 10:50, and that is brought to you by Double Days. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. He's OB. I'm David. And let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, because just in case people were planning on coming to games this weekend, I want to make sure that they know that the times have changed.
Times are changing.
Times are changing. Reese Nygren, Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Tell us what time the games are.
Well, this isn't a segment of In Case You Missed It, but in case you did miss it, baseball adjusted their game start times for a doubleheader today on Friday, so no games on Saturday. First pitch of Game 1 today will be at 2 p.m. Game 3 will begin at 6 p.m. or 45 minutes after Game 1 if Game 2 can't start at 6 p.m. Tickets for Saturday's contest will be honored for Game 1 on Friday, and then Friday night tickets will still stay at the 6 p.m. game.
So what they got to do is just sweep them on a Friday, make it a really good Friday.
A great Friday.
Yeah.
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 I'm going.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You got hooked up.
I went
right?
last night.
Yeah. You got
hooked up.
You got hooked up. Hey, I know that people are mean about Aggie sometimes in like the national media space, but we're gonna talk about something that I think is actually pretty much on point.
Okay.
Ranking college football's 10 most lethal wide receivers entering 2026.
Oh, Craver's got to be on that
CBS
list.
Sports' Brad Crawford, who I don't remember if it was one of the mean guys or not, but in this particular article, not so mean. I'm just going to read you the list until we get to Mario, because he is on the list. Number 1.
Jeremiah Smith.
Absolutely. Nobody should be surprised by that, right?
Yeah, no.
He's fantastic.
First player taken in the draft next year, probably.
Yeah. Number 2, a guy that we saw at Kyle Field the last time we saw the Aggies play.
Yeah, that Miami receiver.
Malachi Tony.
I would have got it eventually.
Number 3 on the list, a guy that A&M is going to see who they almost had on campus.
Oh, the transfer from Auburn. Cam Coleman.
Yeah.
Really? He's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now,
that might be a tad overrated. Now, he hadn't had great quarterbacks to work with before. Mm-hmm. So this, without a doubt, Arch will be the best quarterback. Not even close. That he's
one of his best games came against A&M a couple years ago.
Yeah, but everybody had a big game against that A&M secondary.
And Peyton Thorne was Joe Montana that day. On that day, because I talked bad about him, he became Joe Montana. Number 4 on the list.
Okay.
Deuce Robinson, Florida State.
He's a big guy, right? 6'6".
He's a big dude. Number 5, you'll know this name, Charlie Becker, the Indiana wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good.
19.9 yards per catch.
Isn't he? Is he considered more of a? You hear that almost 20 yards a catch, so maybe not. I thought he was more of a possession type of guy, but I guess not.
No, he had fantastic.
Okay. I mean, he was really good last year, no doubt. I mean, I can't get angry at any of these.
Number 6 on the list, our guy,
Super Mario Craver.
Mario Craver. Mississippi State transfer, averaged 15.5 yards per catch last season, 917 yards, 59 catches for the Aggies. Colin Klein left the program, and now they promoted Holman Wiggins to be the play caller. We asked one A&M source which player stood out during the first week of spring practice. His response was?
Mario Craver.
Super Mario. It's clear the Aggies are expecting big things out of their 5'9" weapon, and now number 1 option in the passing game with KC to off to the NFL.
Well, why wouldn't we? When he had almost 1,000 yards receiving last year, right? Of course, we expect big things from him.
Number 7 on the list.
Number 7.
Wyatt Young, the North Texas transfer who went to Oklahoma State. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 8 on the list.
All right.
KJ Duff from Rutgers.
Rutgers.
60 catches, 1,084 yards, 6'6", 225 pounds.
I got to admit that I haven't seen a lot of AJ Duff. Duff, is that what
it's KJ.
Oh, KJ Duff.
KJ Duff.
Like the beer in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like he could be Rutgers, I think, first round draft choice since a wide receiver that went to the Titans about 15 years ago.
And who was that?
I can't even remember his name. But there was a Rutgers wide receiver that was the first round draft choice of the Tigers.
Number 9.
I'm the Titans.
Number 9 on the list.
9.
And he's still a freshman 3 years later. Ryan Coleman, the Alabama wide receiver. He's not really a freshman.
But isn't he Ryan
Coleman Williams? Excuse me, yeah.
Because I know him as Ryan Williams.
Yeah, I don't know why I read Coleman, but they have his middle name in there and caught me. Or
I wonder if he just hyphenated and he added it.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay. All right. You want to give Mama some recognition. Okay.
Coleman Williams. All right. And then number 10 on the list.
He had a bad year last year.
He did.
Really. He had a problem dropping balls last year.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 10 on the list.
Number 10.
Bryant Wesco Jr., Clemson.
Okay.
He only played 6 games last year with a back injury when they played against SMU, but he'll be their number 1 receiver.
Okay, well, maybe they know something about him. Only playing 6 games. He must have been really good in those 6 games.
When we come back on the show, Obi,
okay,
I think you're going to get flustered and angry.
Oh my!
I'm not a personal thing, but I think there's a talking point that I have since I've been doing the show with you that I know that gets you kind of worked up.
Okay,
you might get a little worked up. Maybe it's not a lot of worked up, but a little worked up.
All
okay,
right.
Maybe angry is not the right word. But we've talked about this before.
It's Good Friday. I'll
news.
try to be under control.
Yes, please be under control.
Especially if I look like Jesus.
Yeah, and if you're out of control and you crash, you better have good insurance.
Yeah, you better have.
Yeah, if you're Tiger Woods, you best have Rollo insurance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or driver. Or Uber.
I wish they could have gotten some Rollo insurance last night for the pitchers. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they don't do baseball insurance, but they do homeowners insurance. They do ranch insurance. They do car insurance. They do it all. They are super local right here in College Station. Their headquarters are here, but they're all over the state of Texas, 60 offices. The difference is real. Call them up to find out what insurance opportunities they have for you because they're going to get you the right situation for your family. It's the Rollo way, and the Rollo way is different than everybody else. Check them out, 888-44-ROLLO, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number one of the program. Sorry, it's Go Hour.
Go Hour.
Yeah, you know why I thought it was hour number 2? Because I see Kay Bickham there. That must mean Nick is doing something upstairs, setting up a studio or something. That's the only reason. Am I right, Cade?
Yeah, he's doing something. He called me out of the bullpen.
Yeah, relief pitcher.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's more effective
Than last night?
Yeah.
This better not be the final couple of innings of that game. Anyway, I think this might work you up a little bit.
Okay.
Right, but before you get worked up, let's just kind of listen, okay?
All right.
I'm not saying I agree. I actually don't know how I feel. Alabama AD, Greg Byrne, your buddy. You
I like his
never
dad.
met him.
I like it. I have met him, actually.
You've met Greg? Okay.
Yeah.
Bill was good. Says the SEC should end the SEC championship game when or with an expanded college football playoff. He says, I think the ship has sailed. It's run its course. Now, there's a little bit more. It's a great event, he says. I don't like the idea of it going away, but I think it's the reality with the expanded playoff. The SEC, let's see what else he says. I think we need to pick a lane. We're headed for 16, and there seems to be pressure for 24. So as soon as we get to 24, I guess you could say, well, we better get to 48. I mean, at some point, we have to pick a lane. Hopefully, we never see a 48-team playoff.
I hope we never see 24.
I think we will see 24.
I hope not, but I'm fine with. I'm fine now with 16. In fact, 16 makes sense to me. I've said it all over and over. I don't think it's right that some teams have to win like 4 games to win a national championship, and others have to win 3.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that's right. I understand why he's saying what he's saying, and I think it's it's another example of how. And I'm not saying just him, but the money grabbers are ruining college football. So it's going to be conference championships just aren't going to exist. You're just going to play.
But they make so much money. Can they get rid of it? Like, how do you justify it?
I guess he's saying, well, they'll make it up with more games in the playoff. But again, I'll ask you this. Does it matter? Does a conference championship matter? I think it should.
I think it matters. I also understand if you're trying to win a national championship and you have a legit chance, the injury situation, the wear and tear on your body and your roster, is it worth it when your big thing is to... It's kind of like the SEC championship. You want to win it, right? But those great... In basketball, excuse me. Those great teams don't mind when they exit early either.
Yeah, I think... in fact, what I think they should do is... And I guess they kind of do it anyway. Hey, make a big deal out of winning the SEC championship in the regular season. That's your SEC championship. And I don't give a trophy for the tournament. You say, okay, that's just to get the automatic bid. Don't, they're the SEC tournament champions. I say, hey, they won. Change the wording. Okay, they just secured the automatic bid. So it's like there's 2 champions.
Right.
Your championship should be based on what you did over the course of 18 games and not because you might have gotten hot during one weekend, or not only did you get hot, but maybe that team that won the championship doesn't care.
Right.
And so they're not playing, all their guys at the, same.
But like for Vanderbilt in basketball this year,
Mm-hmm.
that SEC championship opportunity mattered to them, right?
Yeah, it did.
Absolutely mattered.
You think it mattered to Florida?
Not as much.
No, not as much.
They won a national championship. They're there.
They're in.
Yeah.
But I mean,
what about a SEC? He'll love this.
How did you feel about winning the Big 12 championship in '98?
Loved it.
But now you just want to take that away, where it never happens again.
Well, not necessarily.
Where you're never a conference champion, and if they're going to have a conference champion, how are you going to figure it out? Are you going to do it by now? If they say, okay, if you have the best record in the conference, your conference championship. Okay, I can, But what if there's 3 teams with the best record?
Tiebreakers.
Well, and we know how well those work.
They work great.
Because a lot of times they won't even play each other.
Yeah. How did the tiebreaker work for A&M this year?
Yeah. So, all right. What were you going to say that I was going to get mad about?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
What was the track? That's okay. Well, there was a track. Oh, a play-in game SEC championship for that middle tier team.
In football or basketball?
Yeah, like, those teams that like are right outside.
Well, they're already talking about, we got to not have a conference championship game because there's going to be too many games. And now you're talking about a playing game. So why would you do that?
So, let me ask you this. If they do expand to 24 teams, and I do think that's where it's going to head.
So now you have 8 teams that have to play fewer games to win a championship instead of 4.
Sure. But let's say, how many regular season, are they going to take away a regular season game? Is it going to be 12? So we're going to play 16 games every year?
And I don't have a, way back in the day, I had this argument with this sports information director at Texas because I was a proponent for a playoff. And he said, they might have to play 16 games. And I said,
they do it the Division II level back then.
In high school in Texas, in certain divisions, you're going to have to play 16 games to win a championship.
Yep.
He said, you're going to compare this to high school. I said, in the NFL, they're now playing 17. And back then they played 16. They're talking about playing 18. Like you just said, Division II or, whatever they call it.
Yep.
They had to play 16. So why is it just what we now know as the FBS? Why are they softer that they can't play 16 games? When the high schools will do it, the FCS will do it, the NFL will do it, and more. But this one group can't. It's too much.
Do you think conferences like the Big 12 that don't have the talent that the Big 10 and SEC has, that they should have to go through a conference championship? An extra harder game? No.
I don't think if everybody's going to be under the same umbrella, then everybody should have the same rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, telling me I can say certain words, but you can't.
Right.
I can speed down the highway, but you can't. You got to have the same rules. Now, you can be subject to, did you play a strong enough schedule as your team, that there is now. Plus, I don't know, how do you say that like a Big 12 team isn't as talented? Because, look, that guy at Texas Tech's probably going to make sure his team is pretty talented.
Yeah, I'm bringing up Cody Campbell with Billy later because I don't want to spend too much time on it here, but I feel like he's arguing with himself sometimes.
No, I think I know what you're talking about because he wants all these guidelines put into college football and sports like we all do.
Right. But he's not following those guidelines.
Right. Because if you follow those guidelines, those guidelines don't exist. How do you follow a guideline?
Right.
I can say, look, I want these rules in place. In fact, every coach says they want these rules in place, but nobody follows
the rules.
The rules that aren't there until the rules are in place. If you don't spend, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah. Let's hit a break here. Moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Your trade-in has value, and at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, they're ready to help you put that equity to work for you. They have a pre-owned inventory that moves fast, which means they're always looking for new vehicles to add to their lot to give you a better selection. And that means maybe more money in your pockets as you're trying to buy a new vehicle because that trade-in, as I said, has value out there. They bring decades of experience, and they have a great sales team. They're going to help you find the right vehicle for you and your family. They have complimentary oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. It's not a far drive. We're talking 15 minutes. The edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online. Caldwell Country Chevrolet. No, it's great, right?
For life, for a truck, it can cost you $150 to get your oil change.
Yeah, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
I might have to give them a call.
For life. Time to bank on it. Happy times here on the show. Presented by VeraBank. Authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joe Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. Obi, what would you like to bank on?
Well, I'd like
2 wins. Come on.
I would like to bank on 2 wins. I would like to bank on the Aggies bouncing back from last night and bank on the pitching.
Come on, Weston. Let's go.
But I can't. You know what? I'll bank on the lineup. I'll bank on the offense, scoring a lot of runs between 8 to 10 or something like that, maybe more. But because you pretty much can bank on that offense, but I don't think you can bank on anything else.
I'm banking on softball winning the series today.
Okay.
Jorian Wilson having another home run. And Weston Moss having a really nice outing. I don't know what that looks like, but a nice outing. We're not complaining.
It's a win. It's a win. Nice outing. I'll take the win. Any win looks nice.
And then does Aiden Sims say, I got you again, guys?
I feel pretty good about that young man. Now, is he a dominant pitcher? No, but he's pretty consistent.
And bank on me finding a doctor because I got to get x-rays, I think, on my ankle, but they're all closed on Good Friday.
Yeah. Maybe you need to get a cane to walk around until Monday,
Yeah, a pip cane?
Well, any kind of cane you want, if that's the kind you want to go for. Get you a hat to match.
No, I'm not a big hat guy. Let's check in with Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reese, I know that a lot of people are home today. So, I think the chatter is not as big as usual. Premium Chats has some good stuff. What do you have?
So we actually have a text in from TexAgs talking about y'all's proposal about SEC championship games. He said, my answer to the SEC championship is to make 2 divisions and make the 9th SEC game include the winner of each division for the championship. Second place team plays for 3rd and 4th, so on and so forth until you get to the bottom.
Read that again. I think I lost it.
So you go back to 2 divisions.
Yep, I got that.
And the 9th SEC game is between the top teams in each division, and then you just go down the list. So the second place team plays each other, 3rd place team plays each other. You go that way.
8th place takes on 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
8
just go
versus 9.
So they're playing
a lot of extra games that we can't play for.
No, who are they playing? Are they playing like the Big Ten?
No, they play in the SEC.
So how does the first place team play the first? Oh, in each division.
They're in division.
1 versus 1.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, they want
2
to go
versus
to the
2. 8 versus 8.
So
and then nobody can plan ahead.
So, but so are they going to play the?
Do the 8th?
Are they going to play
teams?
the conference championship? So that's the conference championship game.
Yeah.
Then why do they have to play all the others though?
To make it the 9th
to fill out the schedule.
So everybody.
So
plays.
the conference championship game is the 9th game.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not.
What if there's a team that's 3rd, but they could move up
based on
what happened in the first?
Because the second place team lost. The 3rd place team. I'm not poo-pooing the idea. I just don't think we have to do it.
I do think that they should go back to divisions. I agree with that.
Yep.
Because what happened, last year, or even the year before, you can be really good, but I didn't play this team. At least if you're in a division champion, you've played everybody in your division, so you get a good representation of who you played.
Yeah.
Everybody played each other.
You know what's going to happen, though? When they become a super league, it's going to be the Southwest Division. And it's going to be just like the Southwest Conference.
Let's hope not. But so you're saying it's going to be A&M, Texas.
I don't know if Baylor
Texas
makes it.
Tech.
I don't know if Houston makes it.
I don't think they would. Arkansas, and maybe throw in Oklahoma and LSU there. And
yeah, I don't want that.
I don't either. I think that the people in charge of college football are on the verge of ruining it.
It feels like that's been happening for a long time. I would like to see, the non-conference 2 years an ACC team, 2 years a old Pac-12 team, 2 years. I would like to go to Arizona. I know we're going to go next year, a year from now, 27. But I'd like to see that built into the schedule.
I always laugh because I said now that the students are getting paid, there's we got to make so much money, and we got to because we don't have it, and we got to change everything because we don't have the money, and yet they still have their meetings in Destin and nice
hotels.
and really nice spots that everybody wants to go to, and they don't do Zoom. And and the athletic directors still get paid millions of dollars and get raises, and they still pay coaches ridiculous sums not to coach.
When we come back on TexAgs Live, OB will not be in here. It'll be Richard. It'll be Clendenin and Ryan Brauninger on Zoom. We'll have that for you. The baseball bunch guys to tell me and OB how wrong we were in the first hour and how right they were. That's okay. That's why we go to them. That's next on TexAgs. Thanks, OB. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We call this the Baseball Bunch. We've got Richard Zane to my left. We've got Scott Clendenin to my left. And on Zoom on the Buppies Catering and bartending hotline, Ryan Brauninger. Brauninger, good morning, buddy.
Good morning. Thanks for zooming me in.
You got it, buddy.
It is with a newborn. Some nights are better than others.
I get it. I get it. Been there. All right, guys. So where are we right now? Rich, why don't you start us off with what we saw last night and cliff jumpers / hey, leading up to that game, they had won 6 in a row.
Oh, cliff jumpers. I think that's too hasty, right? But it's very obvious that the issues aren't going away and are most likely only increasing and becoming more and more apparent, beginning with the starting pitching. And once again, last night, not good enough, not even close to good enough. Now, I know it's putting a lot of it on Shane Cedeo's unfair. The bullpen didn't do their job either. But if you're a Friday night guy, and I know it's a Thursday, but if your ace is supposed to be your tone setter, every single week in conference, the tone has been set incorrectly. You're chasing, you're playing from behind yet again. Shane Cedeo gives up 8 hits, 4 of them leave the ballpark. He gives up 6 runs, only 4 of them are earned, and you're playing from behind. And it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I don't know what the solution is to the starting rotation because as Coach Earley told you last night and as we've known and told you guys, the personnel's a problem. There aren't too many options. There's not a bunch of puzzle pieces that they can mix and match and find the right solution. Guys have to start executing. Guys have to start performing. The offense is doing its part. 8 runs on a Friday, a series opener in the Southeastern Conference should, and on most nights, will be enough. But for this A&M team, it's not. And that's frustrating.
Scott?
Yeah, you have to pitch better. I mean, that's just the bottom line is pitching is, you know, you look at it as, hey, it's a third of your game, but it's so much more important. And yes, you have shown that you can go out and bash. You can bash and get wins. But you also have to pitch better to do it. Now, I'm not going to throw Gavin Lyons out with the bathwater. Gavin Lyons has done his job this year, giving you an opportunity and time after time. And if you're good 80% of the time, 20% of the time, you're going to show up at the park and you're going to have what happened last night, the way that Vandy was hitting the ball. So, you know, your guy that you've gone to had a bad night last night as well. So if you can't manufacture a 6-inning start with giving up 3 runs, an old-fashioned quality start, you once again are dropping your bullpen into the frying pan again and again and again. And I think that, you know, they need to get 1 or 2 of those starts and relieve some of the pressure because you can blow the balloon up until it pops. I don't think it popped last night on the bullpen, which is crazy, because I also think the bullpen was kind of managed into playing 2 games today. And you've got guys that pitched last night that are going to have to be better today when you play 18 innings. And they've got to show up at the ballpark today and be better today.
Bronny?
Yeah, a couple things. So first of all, what you worry about with this pitching staff is that it becomes demoralizing for the A&M offense. On multiple occasions last night, the Aggies were chasing 4-run deficits, and they had answered back immediately. But at some point as an offense, it just becomes overwhelming to have to keep climbing that mountain. And I'm not saying that it has already, but you kind of start settling into this thing where – and it can lead to some division in the locker room because it's like pitchers versus hitters and – one group doing their job and the other not. I hope it doesn't get there. Like, I hope they are able to figure some things out to at least mitigate what we've seen so far. That being said, I think after this weekend, you do a whole reevaluation of the pitching. And there's a little bit of, I don't want to say fun because you'd much rather do it the traditional way, but there's a little bit of like, hey, this doesn't work. Let's get creative and let's try to find something. Right now, I don't think this pitching staff has much of an identity. Whereas I think early in the year when they were throwing against some lesser teams, they had built up some confidence. It has completely been sapped out of the pitching staff. I mean, you can look at the body language of a lot of the guys that are coming to the mound. I was actually talking to Hayden Schott about it last night. Like, it's just, there's a body language that tells you that there's not a lot of belief that's walking to the pitcher's mound. Now, outside of Clayton Freshcorn. So, how they want to do it, next week would be the perfect time because you're playing 2 games today. You're going back to a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series next weekend. Everybody will be on full rest. If you want to bump up Aiden Sims to Friday night, if you want to play with the starters, we're getting to the point now where I'd look at each and every matchup. I would say, Aiden Sims, you have the ball on Friday, or whatever day you're going to give Aiden Sims the ball. And outside of that, I would go matchup based. Okay, we're playing Texas this week. Texas traditionally struggles. Their data says they struggle with this type of pitch the most often. Who throws that? Who's the most similar on our staff to throw that? And then the next week when you go to LSU or Florida, you do that each and every game until you get some semblance of continuity and some semblance of identity on the pitching staff.
So, Bronny, I'll keep it with you. Is there another – how would you – where is there another starter? Where can they find somebody to give them 2, 3, 4, 5 innings? Is there somebody?
I don't think you look at 5 innings. I think you look at, again, you're going to play matchups by weekend, by game. And if a team really struggles with a good north-south breaking ball, okay, who's got the best north-south breaking ball outside of Aiden Sims on our team? It's probably Grant Cunningham. Grant, you're going to go until they either blow you up and this doesn't work and we get somebody else in there, or this pitch is really effective and they continue to struggle with it. Grant, you've got the ball today. It's unconventional. It's not traditional. But I just don't know how else. Like Richard said, the personnel's the personnel. Coach Earley said it last night. All right, well, you've got to figure out a puzzle piece, the puzzle pieces to a puzzle that may not fit together every single week. The pieces may be different shaped every single week, but that's what you're left with until, either Sadeo and Maul start pitching better. It's just, you're out of answers to the traditional way. So I would start thinking way outside of the box.
Scotty?
Well, I understand, what Bronny's saying, and, that's why I'm saying some of the pieces that pitched last night have to be better today. Now, maybe they learned in the matchups last night. Maybe they can see that, hey, this didn't work. This game plan didn't work. You can't be static. You can't say, well, we're just going to run them and do the exact same thing we did. But I also think that you have two guys, Weston Moss, who has done it, and Aiden Sims, who is doing it this year, that you have to give them the ball and say, okay, your offense is going to give you runs. Your offense is going to provide a chance for you to win this game. Go out there and do the best of you. And let's see where you are at the best of you for 5 or 6 innings. And I don't think you can have a quick hook unless it's just something that's gone crazy. I think you have to believe that your offense is going to give you something. And I also think you have to believe that your defense is going to show back up again and play at the level that they had been playing at. I mean, that was compounded the problem last night, was that you hadn't seen the defense play like this in a while. And I think that's probably an easier fix because you do have days where you make errors. You have to.
There's no margin for error.
Yeah. No,
there's teams playing with no margin for error. So if the defense, to Scotty's point, if the defense who's fielding 983 coming into the weekend, if they have a night where it wasn't nearly as clean as it needed to be, like that's going to just blow this thing up. And again, it makes it, the word is sustainability. And we said it in 2022 that it wasn't sustainable. And even though this team mimics that, I think with a better offense and more talented defense, the word is still unsustainable. This is not a sustainable way to keep winning baseball games, relying on 8-9 runs every time you go out there.
Yeah, Looch and I were having that conversation last night. Called him on the way home. It's like the flip side of that coin of that 2022 team. They kept finding ways to win, even though their style, everything you know about baseball tells you it's unsustainable. They can't do it throughout the entire year. This team, at least yesterday, was like the flip side, where they played the same style, and of course it came back and bit them. To the pitching staff today, the way you manage your pitching is going to be completely different than what you're going to see moving forward because you have to somehow cover 18 innings with Weston Moss, Aiden Sims, and a thin pitching staff, right? Or a thin bullpen, excuse me. But to Bronny's point, I think you got to get creative. Do you start looking at openers? Do you play matchup? Do you mix and match stuff? Do you switch stuff around on different days of the weekend? Anything and everything has to be on the table for this pitching staff after this weekend. Get through today and start reevaluating and seriously reassessing that process and find what's going to give you the best chance for success over the last 6 weekends of the regular season.
Richard, we'll keep it with you. Shane Sadeo in particular. Really good, really bad. and it can happen in the same inning. What are you seeing from Shane? And to Scotty's point earlier, like, you just got to expect these guys to give you 4 or 5 innings unless it's just a complete dismantling?
Well, I think what I'm seeing and what a lot of people are seeing and what Coach Earley discussed with us last night, it's too many fastballs in the zone, missing over the middle of the plate. I understand the numbers and the logic behind the whole throw this white thing over the plate. 97% of the time, you're going to get it back in your glove with a positive outcome, a strike or an out. But these offenses are so good that 3% is feeling more like 30% right now. And that batting average against Shane Sadeo in conference is mirroring 300, right? So you have to start hitting your spots. You can't make mistakes in locations against these types of offenses. Vanderbilt's and Georgia's, I know they're two of the best home run hitting teams in the country, but you're seeing it. You're seeing why that doesn't work. You have to live on the edges. You have to find those margins to work in, and right now he's not. He's too center cut, and he's getting beat for it.
What are you seeing from Shane?
Well, I think that's the interesting thing, and the part that can be frustrating is you go home run, punch out, home run, punch out. I mean, when it's happening in an inning, I mean that's got to have people pulling their hair out. I mean, because that is the definition of the roller coaster that a pitcher cannot be on. You have got to not have the highs and the lows so just wide. You have to find your spot in the middle that lead to outs. And if it's not throwing the same pitches over and over again, they're finding the middle of the plate and getting hit out. Okay, I thought last week was more based. 2 weeks ago against Georgia was more based on they hit some balls that are normally going to be outs that went out. That was not the case last night. The last night was it wouldn't have mattered if there had been a north wind blowing in. These balls were going to travel because they were crushed. And he has got to get away from that middle miss and maybe not have as many strikeouts. But that's what I'm saying. You have got to have a different plan today to get Vandy out because what you tried to do last night didn't work. And can your pitchers execute that and get outs?
The start of the game was so interesting, and Bronny, I want to get your thoughts on it and what you might see from a scouting report, because Vanderbilt's on swing from the very beginning. It's 3 pitches and a strikeout, and then it's a home run. And then it's 3 pitches and a strikeout and a home run. Something in the scouting report for Shane Sadeo is telling opposing offenses to be on swing in the zone, because when you get your pitch, and you are going to get it, you are going to make loud contact. Bronny, what are you seeing?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that was the game plan for Tim Corbin when Mancini stepped in the box to start the night, and they really never came off of that with Shane, which is why you do get some of those strikeout numbers. But what I'm seeing, and I went but sat behind the plate last night in the second and third inning, just because I wanted to see kind of how the stuff was presenting, and it's not a fully accurate depiction of it from the stands. I would need also some metric stuff from where I was sitting. I would need the data to look at it, but it just looks like the fastball's got no wiggle to it. It's 91 to 93, and there's no wiggle to it. Maybe that he's got to go into the bullpen sessions this week, and they've got to start tinkering with fastball shapes, and just maybe he switches thumb placement to get a little cut out of it, or maybe he needs to get inside of it more and try to sink it a little bit, or just have something that presents to his arm side. But the ball's in the middle of the plate, like those guys said, and the fastball's got no wiggle on it. And there's just giant inconsistencies in pitch shape. He's ripping some of these sliders, and they've got no chance to hit it, left-handers or right-handers. And then you'll get 2 cement mixers in the middle of the plate. Like, there's just not a consistent feel to spin, and there's not a consistent feel for shape over and over for Shane right now. But all that said, the Georgia outing, he needed to be better. Last night, he needed to be better. But still, with this offense, it's manageable for you to go. If the starting pitcher can get you through 5 innings and you allow 5, it's not good enough, but it's manageable with this offense. What happened last night is you did have a bad error that took away a double play, which, again, you have some grace for the offense. And then the bullpen comes in, and Gavin Lyons gets torched. Ethan Darden walks a run in. It just nobody could stop the bleeding, and Clayton Freshcorn came in a really tight spot, got the soft contact that he needed, and the ball squirts through. And I don't listen. Nico Partita, he should probably make the play. If he catches it, it's still not going to be an easy throw, but he's got plenty of arm talent to make it. My whole deal is the ball can't go to the outfield. That ball can't go to the outfield. And it gets through 2 freshmen. Boston Kellner does lay out, but the ball goes to the outfield and it scores 2 runs. Freshcorn comes off the field, and I think he's a little bit perturbed with Partita. And look, Nico's been incredible. Obviously has gotten some accolades for the year that he's had, and that's a learning moment for him. Just because these guys have played 28, 30 games doesn't mean they're completely done being freshmen. Nico and Boston and Jorian have never in their life, and Nico won a state championship, went to another, was a 3-time All-State player at Pearland. Never in his life has he played a game where every pitch matters so much as it does right now. So there is still some adjustment that has to happen in the league for those guys. But if you could hand the ball to a Chris Cortez or an Evan Aschenbeck in the 5th and 6th inning, this whole thing looks different. So the lack of depth and the lack of performance by the bullpen is equally as troubling as what you're getting or not getting out of your starters.
Bronny, back to your original point about what it does to the offensive psyche. Yesterday, they climbed out of that hole a couple times, and then those mistakes happen late. How demoralizing is it for an offense that at the end wasn't getting hits?
It's just, again, it's hard to get back on the saddle each and every inning and just say, all right, we got more work to do. We got more work to do. You just needed something to settle the game on the pitching side. And as the A&M offense, they'd get within 1. Then they'd get within 1. They can never get the game tied or go ahead. And look, Bluebell Park last night was really good. It was really good until about the 8th inning. And whenever A&M was mounting those comebacks, it was loud. You could tell that there was, the fans were jumping on the back of the team and trying to give them some encouragement. But then, you heard audible groans in the stadium with what was happening when A&M was on defense. And it was a real, the energy of the ballpark, I thought, very much mimicked the energy of the team. So it's something you're going to have to fight against. And there's no feeling sorry for yourself way out of it. Like, the coaching staff is going to have to get creative. I don't think that this is some giant indictment that you cannot win and you can't get to the postseason because of this, because we've seen it happen before. You're not delusional if you think this team can make a run with all its current pieces. We saw it happen in 2022. It's an identical scenario, except this offense is better and this defense is more talented. So they can make a run at the postseason, but man, it is going to be an-acid baseball every single day you go out there until they figure out something on the pitching side.
All right, we'll head a break. We'll come back with more with the Baseball Bunch. When it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors, an independent fiduciary firm serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals. They have over 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep at Paragon Financial because credentials matter and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Continuing on the baseball bunch on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, Scott, the offense yesterday hits 5 home runs. You've watched a lot of Aggie baseball. I know you don't have a number for me, but it's got to be rare to lose a game where the offense hits 5. I mean, the other offense hit 5 as well, so there's that. But
yes.
I'm just, in my mind, I can't imagine that happens very often.
No, I don't think so. I think that, you're looking at this offense, able to make that kind of effort. It wasn't just solo shots either. I think that's one of the things about this is, you were hitting some home runs that were getting multiple guys in. And I think that that's one of the reasons why last night was as frustrating as it was when, we talked about in the first segment, climbing back to within 1 and then not getting over the hump. I saw the hitting streak, or reach base streak in last night. Well, Bear's having a great night. You've had a guy that's got on every game this year, batting behind him, and you're like, well, this is perfect. He's going to set up the top of the lineup to come back up again. And, for the first time this season, Boston Kellner is human and doesn't reach. And it wasn't like they were all a bunch of terrible at-bats. He only punched out 1 time in that. He had 2 plays in the hole that kind of took plays away from him. So I just think that you got to the cusp and you're sitting there and you're thinking, hey, this is it. One of those times you're going to get Sorrell up in a position at the end of the game. Hey, this guy's as hot as anybody in the country. It's still baseball. And you still look at those things and say, could you, if you had gotten it even, would it have changed the dynamic for what happened with Vanderbilt? The only dynamic I know that could change is you might have used Freshcon longer in that game if it had been tied or you had been ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's where I look at this pitching staff and the mix between that and the offense is, yes, there's specific things that might have changed, but I also think when you're looking at the fact that when you got back down 11-8 and didn't score anything in the next inning, you don't need to send Freshcon back out there. You have to play for the 18 innings today. Yes, you're playing every game to win. Even on a night where you're scoring runs, you're playing that to win in that game. But you're also pretty good idea that you're going to play 18 innings today and that you've got to be ready because you can't be at the end of the game and be completely without the people that can give you an opportunity to win 1 or 2 ball games today.
Bronny, was it a case yesterday of A&M being bad or Vandy being really good? And how much can we read into the way Vandy has played recently? Because I know Tennessee hadn't been playing well, and they came away with that series. They've won now, I think, 6 in a row.
Both. I thought Vanderbilt was extremely good on defense, very, very clean, had some big double plays in there, and that's typical of Tim Corbin coach teams. Like, they are so fundamentally sound. The kind of joke in the baseball circles is that they're like the old Tom Amansky videos. Like, they're just so well drilled in a lot of different areas of the game, and you, for the most part, Vandy's going to make you beat them. And A&M just wasn't up to snuff on the mound, and then they had a bad one on defense as well last night. But one of the funny things, I was texting with a few people last night about this, is like, the game of baseball, the pitching staff so far is like even beating the odds of the game of baseball, because there should be some days where, like, okay, they hit the ball a bunch, they hit it right at us, and where there's a little bit of luck on our side. A&M, at least in terms of the pitching side, hasn't gotten any luck either, and which is really kind of crazy that you have all of these outcomes, like batted ball outcomes, and you don't have a day where they're just continuously hitting balls right at defenders, and you feel better about a start, whether it's warranted or not, because there are zeros going up on the scoreboard. So Vanderbilt was impressed with their power production, but they got a lot of good pitches to hit. Like I think the first baseman had a couple of good swings that I really liked on tough pitches. Outside of that, we talked about it in the first segment. They're getting a lot of stuff in the middle of the plate, and they're not missing.
To Bronny's point about luck, right? Where you get a weakly hit fly ball to center field, but it's a big swing and it comes off the end of the bat and Sorrell can't read it right. Or you get a hard hit ball right at a guy to start a double play, takes a bad hop. You get a weakly hit ball and it finds the gap between Kellner and Partita. So yeah, Bronny, no luck for this pitching staff whatsoever. Great point.
But to what Scotty talked about earlier, defensively, what seemed off compared to other nights?
I just don't think they made plays, right?
That's baseball.
Gavin Grahovac's been probably the most important defender on the team. Much improved, going from third base to first base. He's been great over there. Throws the ball into left field. That's uncharacteristic. You don't see that from Gavin Grahovac very often. Nico Partitas played very well at third base for a true freshman. Gets a bad hop on an OA. One sneaks by him. No true errors, but I'm sure he'd tell you, and I'm sure Mike Earley would also agree that he thinks he should make those plays. Boston Kellner, I give him a complete pass on that double play ball. It's 113 miles an hour off the bat, and it takes a bad hop off a rock or something and hits him in the shoulder. It just wasn't a nice night defensively. They didn't help themselves, but credit to Vanderbilt, they hit it where they ain't sometimes.
Well, and I think that, and when you have a ball fall in like fell in last night, it's because you're bashing. And A&M's had that happen for them this year as well. Last week in Missouri, you had a ball fall in front of the outfield because they're like, can I climb up on top of this fence to give me an opportunity to catch one of these rockets that's being hit out? It's just part of the game. And, Sorrell makes so many plays in center field that you think that any ball hit is going to end up being an out, and sometimes it doesn't. When he had the ball bounce off his glove, Jace last year had a ball bounce off his glove, go for a home run, and he looked at his glove like, that has never happened to me in my life. But it probably will happen to him again, that you have things like that happen in baseball, and that's just part of the dynamics of one of the craziest games you can play.
Bronny, I want to end this segment with a positive thought. I'm just going to throw out the name Jorian Wilson and, the tear he's on right now.
Well, it's more importantly, you're seeing outcomes and you're seeing results, right? The homer last night was 110 miles an hour. The single backside was 114 miles an hour. Okay, we know he's got that in there. But what I'm seeing is pitch to pitch, understanding the flow of an at-bat, understanding how they're trying to get him out, like he's learning. There are some big strides happening over the last 7 to 10 days for Jorian. And that doesn't mean that he's completely figured it out, but he is undoubtedly taking steps in the right direction. And because he's so gifted and because he's got so much talent oozing out of his body, he's playing catch-up quicker than a lot of guys that would have come in with his level of experience. This athletic skill set, the overall twitch in his body, his physical strength is allowing him to make giant progress very quickly. Again, doesn't mean he's a finished product, but at least for right now, that guy's in the lineup every day. Right-handers, left-handers, I don't care. Jorian Wilson goes to right field.
Scott, a little bit on that just how quickly he is evolving in front of our eyes.
Well, I think that's one of the things that made Jay so special to do it right away as a freshman. Sorrell took a little time. Tyler Naquin took a little time. Nick Banks took a little time. Jordan Wilson's taking a little time. All superstar players, that when it clicks.
It clicks.
It clicks, and you're good for a long time. And I think that, for the question is, can young players not let the mental part of the game beat them down? When you're learning, when you're 17 years old, when you were playing at Hallettsville, and not the select background. We've heard about the story about not the select background that some other players have had. But that's why I look at Sorrell, who was, JV for a while in high school. And then it clicked for him, and he took off. And you see a guy that can be as good as anybody in the country this year. And I think that, Jorian Wilson is showing that he can be as good as any freshman in the country this year. And we still haven't seen, and Bronny and I have talked about this, we haven't seen him put one in the air at 120 to the pull side. That he's got something in him that we haven't even seen, that is an elevated ball where he gets all of it, and you're just going to be mouth open watching a ball that flies as good as any that anybody has hit here at all.
The homer last night in the stadium, I know, I went back and watched the replay. In the stadium, it was like watching Yordan Alvarez hit a home run. The ball never felt like it was going to come out of the sky. And he is going to hit a ball 120 at some point in his career. The fact that he's got back-to-back weekends in this league with a 114 and a 115, there's not many people walking the planet that can do that. He once again, he had a great at-bat last night where he flew out to the wall, where he got in there, he got the 2 strikes, he battled, he fought off pitches, and he ended up getting the ball off his hands a little bit, and it almost carried out. That's the second time that's happened in as many games. He's just a different level, man. Like, even with Partita and Kellner, and even amongst the guys like Gavin and Sorrell, like Sorrell's going to be a top 10 pick. He can't physically do some of the stuff that Jorian can do. It's a very, very unique situation and extremely unique skill set.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more right now. Milliken Reserve Time, farm-to-table community in College Station. They've got homes, they've got trails, they've got farms, they got wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They're committed to treading lightly on the land. Milliken Reserve is creating a sanctuary for family, for nature, and for community with their 2,600 acres of open space. They've got 30 miles of trails, and they've got farms and an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape. You go there, you're going to see all the white-tailed deer you can imagine. They're amazing. The songbirds, the rabbits, the turtles. And homeowners at Milliken Reserve sharing a legacy of conservation, which means generation after generation coming back to the pristine countryside place. When you go there, go hiking, biking, canoeing, kayaking, equestrian trails, evening yoga, you name it. You can do so much when you go to Milliken Reserve. You can learn more at millikenreserve.com. That is millikenreserve.com. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. And we're back here, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, the baseball bunch. Okay, I'm going to ask a dumb question, Richard. What does today have to look like? And when I say that, I know they need to look with a couple wins and yada. Sure. We'd love to see Weston Moscow, 6 strong innings, et cetera. But like, understanding this team, this pitching limitations, what does today have to look like for them to salvage the series?
I think you have to get length out of both starters. That's an easy, low-hanging fruit answer, but that's what it looks like to me. We say it begins and ends on the mound and with starting pitching. It has to, if it's going to get better, that begins with your starting pitching. And that's on both Weston and Aiden today. And then from the defensive side of things, it's obviously got to be cleaner than it was last night. Revert back to who you were the first 28 games of the year rather than who you were in game 29. And then the offense has been what they have been so far this year. They entered yesterday in the top 5 in scoring average. They were over 10 runs per game. And if you're lazy and you're thinking, oh, well, they're just doing that in midweeks and against non-conference action. In their 10 conference games, they're averaging 9.8 runs per game. They're right there. This offense is elite. The offense has to stay elite. Keep in mind what happened last year in a doubleheader after a very demoralizing opener in Knoxville, Tennessee. Then what happened in the doubleheader?
They came back and won it.
Won both of them. Some sort of response.
And it felt the season was over that day. Now,
remember, that response was otherworldly loud. It doesn't have to be that explosive, but it has to be in a similar vein, and that'll help calm all the nerves and all the, I guess, with the stomach bile, with all those antacids, right, Brawny, your Tums, that'll help calm those nerves.
Well, you also, the offense, you don't want them to start pressing because they feel like they have to go score 9.5 runs a game to win SEC games and win series. But for today, I mean, I don't even know how you – I mean, yeah, you got – getting some pitching would be great. Like, can anybody get you 15 outs? That would be, I think, enormous if somebody to get you 15 outs today. And outside of that, you just keep doing what you've been doing. Like, I think yesterday's an outlier defensively. Offensively, it was good. I think you just – if you can maintain 2 of the 3 elements of your team that have been really, really good so far, that is your best recipe to win. And, hope ain't a strategy, but I think that's all they're down to on the pitching side is hope.
Well, I just – because here's the crazy thing. We don't know what we're going to see from Vandy on the mound either.
That's true.
I mean,
this could be an awful day if you were like – you could be at the ballpark for a long, long time today.
Yeah, because
I intend to be. Like 10 hours.
Yeah, because they didn't know who they were going to throw tomorrow, and now they got to do it today. I think both guys they threw last night are going to pitch again today. And this was
Baird was good.
Yeah. And he threw 30? That was a 22 and a 30. Was that the mark? I had the 22 and a 32. So they're going to go today. So they're going to go into those guys. But I don't know what Vandy's going to do. And I think Vandy probably has some guys over there going, yeah, you're right. Hey, that Jordan Wilson just missed another one. They came in and everything we had heard about their offense is what their offense is. So there's going to be runs scored. There was a lot of runs scored last night all across this league. And, I mean, it didn't really matter. It was Georgia, Mississippi State. They scored 17 between them. I mean, right now the offenses in this league, I didn't think South Carolina was going to put up an 8th spot on the Longhorns last night. This is a weird week this week. Everybody got moved up. Everybody is put in this position. Oklahoma can't pitch in game 1, and then and it showed again to last night. And then the last 2 games last weekend, they had good pitching. They didn't get wins, but they were in games, and Texas won at the end. So it is just going to be a very interesting situation to see what happens 18 innings on the mound between both these teams. And the team that does it the best, however you mix it, however you match it, is going to be the team that walks out today with the series.
Scott.
Well, it's so hard to win both ends of a doubleheader. Richard brought up the series last year in Knoxville. Like, that's such an extreme outlier.
Yep.
Usually doubleheaders are split, especially if the teams are relatively evenly matched in terms of talent. It's just the way baseball works. And that's why last night was such an important game. When you were looking at it hadn't been scheduled for a doubleheader yet, but when you're looking at the possibility, you're going, man, getting Thursday would mean an awful lot if you've got to play 2 on Saturday, because You drop the first one, getting 2, even at home, in one day is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. The pitching only further heightens that.
Scotty, during the break, we were kind of trying to figure out what the rest of the year could look like, right? And you brought up you can't really tell based on history because not that long ago, you can't read into a pitching staff completely. You can read into it, but you can't completely tell the story.
Right. Brauninger, Moo Menifee went 6-2 with a 5.5 in 2022. Brad Rudis was 3-0 with 3 saves and a 5.2. Chris Cortez was 6-3. The guy that was the difference maker on that team, because they were up and down, all right? Jacob Polish was not. He was the guy. He was the rock. He was the one that you gave the ball to after about the first 3 weeks of the season, said, this is what you're going to do. That is what I think A&M is looking for. Richard brought up, Aschenbeck. I remember when Aschenbeck went down to Houston, you didn't even know what you had. You play that long extra inning game, and then all of a sudden, this is a dude. Okay? Somebody has to step up into that role because what we thought wasn't sustainable in 2022 was because there was one guy you could give the ball to each and every time, and you thought you were going to get a W when he went to the mound. You didn't get it every time, but you thought you could. The other guys had times where for a week they were good, and the next week they weren't, but they weren't out there too long. And I think that's what you have to find is this guy, you have to find a rock. If you don't have it, then making a run like 2022 isn't sustainable.
Well, the rock has been Clayton Freshcorn, and so maybe you start looking at your usage of him. Right now, I would agree that it's best to hold him for when the game is tied or when you have a lead. But, last night they brought him in a one-run game, and I thought that was the right call because he was either going to pitch and finish it in a win or he was going to be out of the game quickly. And they got him out of the game quickly so that he could come back and throw today. One thing that today is not going to allow for Coach Earley to do is make it a turnstile on the mound. You could do that last night, and if you're playing one game a day and you're just trying to get creative with the pitching staff, you can make it a turnstile like you would on a midweek night. But when you're playing 18 innings in a day, you're going to be doing some hoping and praying in the dugout that somebody can find you outs at a consistent level over the course of these 2 games a day. Because managing it where you're just wearing out a path between the dugout and the mound, you can't do that in an 18-inning day.
Scott, is there a point where it's too late? Like the Jacob Polish of 2026 has to emerge, or Evan Aschenbeck? Are we close to that point?
That was the other thing is how have these, how did that season go? When did they turn it around? When did they make the run? When did last season, up until the point you had Missouri, when did they turn it around? When did they make that run? It wasn't too late.
Right.
And in this league where nobody other than Georgia, who you have already played, is like sprinting ahead of everybody, there's a lot more teams in the middle this year than there were last year. You had a couple teams last year with Texas making the undefeated start to the year for a while. I really don't know because you have so many games in this league that I just look at the scores and say there's a lot of offense. Your pitching has to show up on all of these teams each and every night, or people are getting 9 and 10 runs scored against you on a regular basis each and every game.
Richard, any thoughts on that?
Go back to 2022. They lost 2 of their first 3 conference series. They lost to both Auburn and Alabama, and then won their last 7. So it seems like the time is now. If you're going to find somebody who's going to settle into that role or really turn it around on the mound, but regardless if it's now or next week or the week after, it's got to happen sooner rather than later.
Okay, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with a final segment with the baseball bunch, then Billy Liucci for the 10 o'clock hour. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. About 4 minutes left here on the baseball bunch. Resilience. This team has bounced back this year several times. Richard, you even wrote a little bit about it. Talk a little bit about that, considering we did the cliff jumpers, but like there's people like, I don't see how it's going to happen. Yeah. But this team has bounced back several times this year, in games and after games.
Pretty much every single time they have been met with any sort of adversity, they have responded. And that should give you confidence in this team moving into this weekend and forward. Coach Earley spoke about it a couple weeks ago after that second Georgia game. He felt that was the only game where they didn't come out with the fire lit under them. I expect them to do that today. I expect them to bounce back and play a better, cleaner brand of baseball today. Of course, a lot of it's going to depend on the pitching. We know that. No use in beating a dead horse, right? But this team has responded to adversity. They've got 6 losses. They've responded to 4 of the first 5 with a victory the next day.
I have seen Weston Moss do what needs to be done today. That is the other thing. It's not like I'm giving a guy is, hey, field goal kicker. Our guy just broke his ankle, and you have never walked out on Kyle Field, and you got to kick a game winner. It's a completely different kind of apprehension than I would have to saying, hey, I've seen Aiden Sims do it this year and be in that position and come through. And I've also seen Weston Moss in last year when you had to have a guy, when you had to put the ball in somebody's hands and say, this has to be you, and he has responded with it. Weston Moss, if that Weston Moss shows up today, he can show up time and time again as this team goes forward, and I think we could see a much different pitching staff.
Bronny?
Yeah, I do expect them to respond. Look, we talk about this team like they're playing 500 baseball. Richard's right. They're 23-6. There is some light. We shed we covered a lot of the darkness that's covering this team. There is some really good aspects of it. They are clearly a different club than they were a year ago. And look, this isn't a must-win series. Like, you go 1-2 this weekend, it does not taste good. You're 6-6 at this point in the league. That's not untenable. And to Scotty was talking about just the rest of the SEC earlier, I don't know that there is an elite club. Georgia is emerging, but I feel like of the 16 teams in the league, if you put Georgia, and you can even put Texas at the top if you wanted to, but let's just put those 2 at the top, then you got the 2 at the bottom. You got the middle 12 that I think can take a series off of anybody in any weekend, and A&M is certainly amongst that group. And so it's easy to be negative after last night, and I agree. Like, if you're trying to make decisions and make prognostications on the remainder of the year, it's pretty bleak given what the pitching has been. But this is baseball, man. This is baseball. It can all flip at the drop of a hat, and you can have 2 weekends in a row where the pitching staff steps up and all of a sudden the offense plummets. That's just this game. So to be definitive in that this is a season-long issue, I would agree that it's trending that direction, but we don't know that yet. It's no different than last year whenever we said, watch the entire season and take into account what you see at the end.
To Bronny's point, the bottom 2 and the top 2 is one of the bottom 2 not a game up and in the driver's seat and leading that series on one of the top 2 teams? It is SEC baseball. It is a roller coaster. You said it early, Bronny, and acid ball everywhere in this league each and every weekend.
And Vandy 2 weeks ago was thinking the same thing that a lot of people are thinking about A&M today.
Well said, guys. Thank you very much. We will catch up with you next week. Thank you. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Live, we'll find out what's happening on TexAgs.com and also what's going on with Billy Liucci. We'll get that and more. It's TexAgs Live. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hope to have Billy Liucci on the phone or in studio here momentarily. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Let's find out what's popping on TexAgs today.
Yeah, as a reminder, it's always a great time to become a TexAgs premium subscriber. Some of the content that we have out right now, we have Game 1 recaps from both softball and baseball from Richard and Emily. An NIL interview with Jamarian Morrow talking about the talent in the running back room and the difference in offense between last year and this year. We have an NIL interview with KK Dement where she talks about how she's adopted the leadership role and the series recap from Texas, and then recruiting updates from the GOAT, Jason Howell, talking about 2028 recruits, 2027 recruits, their impression that Aggieland has made on them. And then today into this weekend, continued baseball and softball coverage as they complete their series this afternoon, and then more spring practice as usual.
You said something there that caught my attention. No, this is not shade towards Jason Howell. This is just a conversation. I want Nick to be a part of this, okay? I feel like today's culture, we just throw the word GOAT for anybody who's pretty good at their job. Jason's elite.
The GOAT.
But, like, have you guys noticed that? Like, it's, oh, GOAT. Like, no, you can't have that many GOATs.
Yeah. Or like generational. It's like why are we throwing generational
And this is not about Jason. I'm just saying, like, to me, in each sport, there should be one, maybe two GOATs.
Yeah.
Maybe one. Nick, agree? Come on. Like, we use that term so liberally.
Yeah, I get what you're getting at. Like, you'll hear that about Aaron Judge, and I just think not baseball good. Off the top of my head. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
What's the word for the great right now? Is there a word?
No.
Greatest of right now. Gort.
Gort.
All right, Gort.
The Gort.
Jason Gort. Okay, but the greatest of all time.
That's probably something we're not supposed to say on air. So
Gort.
We're done.
Was that a bad word?
Maybe.
Is it?
I don't think so.
I'll look it up.
Did I make a mistake here?
Booted. No, I think Gort is
I'm totally messing with you.
Okay.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Gort is a perfectly fine thing
Gort
to say.
is an iconic 8-foot-tall, seamless metal robot from the 1951 sci-fi classic The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is probably your favorite movie.
Perfect. Gort. Greatest of right now. Yeah. I mean, because it's not really a goat. It's not really like a, like it's not.
But Gort. Yeah, I feel like GOAT does get thrown around a lot.
Just for you did it, but it's not your fault.
But Jason Howell is the GOAT.
He is not the greatest of all time.
At recruiting updates on TexAgs, Jason
We've got another employee who thinks he is. How about they're both the greatest of right now?
Both. So there can't be two GOATs, but there are going to be two Gorts?
No, I don't think you can do that either. I don't.
This is also the GOAT too.
This one I'm okay with. Like, I'm not okay with everybody getting...
So Jason Howell can't be the GOAT?
No.
Okay.
He's really good. I'm just making a point that I think we use the word GOAT too often when talking about anybody who did pretty good today. Oh, GOAT.
GOAT in generation.
Got a strikeout GOAT.
Strikeout GOAT. Nobody wants to be that. But Aaron Judge is making his case right now.
Well, I don't know. Shohei has got something to say about that too.
I didn't know that people were still using GOAT.
He just used it on Jason Howell 5 seconds ago.
Howell?
Yeah, Jason Howell is the GOAT.
And I think he's really good.
What's even worse is goated.
No lies.
Goated is pretty bad. Good morning, Billy. How are you?
Morning. I'm good. How's your ankle?
It's worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it bruised up?
Oh, yeah.
Let me see it.
No, not good. No, we're not doing Feet Finder.
I want to see your ankle. Just pull your jeans up.
That hurts too much. I'll show you a picture of the ankle, not of everything else.
I got the wrong hat on today, too. I blame you.
All right.
Didn't mean to do
so it's kind of
disgusting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like,
I'm posting it, though.
You are?
No, hell no.
You probably will.
No.
For sympathy.
Oh, my ankles wounded. I talk like this when I make fun of other people.
Why do I do your voice like Julia Child?
Sounds like Kermit.
Yoda Nuño?
Child or Childs?
Both. No, I probably need to go see it.
All I'm going to say is it's what you get.
Oh, because I live a life to the extreme? I live... You go mountain hiking with lions and bears, okay?
And
I do it with bears in a cage.
And if you'd have said you deserve for your calves, feet, and quads to be in pain because your dumbass walked down 2,000 feet of steep elevation and didn't get acclimated to the altitude, then I would say, you know what, you're right.
No, I
So
think
that's all. That's just that simple.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be the best me, and it doesn't stop. I don't care what age it is.
Be careful who you're fighting. Why don't you be a little more
Guy was a
careful.
lot older and a lot smaller. Okay, I should have won, but I didn't. Hey, do you want to start baseball or do we start football?
I don't care. You start baseball since y'all just finished it. I was listening.
Yeah. So I found it, and I know in today's college baseball, in today's baseball in general, teams are going to hit a lot of home runs, okay? But to lose a game where you hit 5, to me was just, I don't know if that's shocking. Maybe the way it played out.
You lost it by 6 runs.
Exactly
5
right.
home runs.
And then you had it within 1 with 3 innings to play.
Yeah. What, twice you had it within 1?
Yep.
And then your bats went quiet and did nothing. So they had somebody come out of the bullpen that shut you down when they had to, when the game was in balance, and you did not. You had the opposite. Here's the first thing I'll say. There's 2 games left in this series. So I heard a lot of quitting today. I've read a lot of quitting, our site, social media, and I get it. I get it does, to me, just being honest, it does not look good. With that, the way the pitching is going, I heard Bronny say you don't have to win this series. You can, and you're 6-6. No, you're not, because you have to win a game today to get to 6-6. First of all, a sweep is still on the table. I think A&M, but I also think coming out and just mashing today is on the table for this team, and maybe you win. They beat Tennessee 16-15. Maybe you win 10-9 or 12-10, 2 games today.
Yeah.
So those things are all on the table. So to say, well, if you don't win the series, you're 6-6 is also not true. My problem is if they're 6-6, or let's say they get win split today and they're 6-6. That's all well and good, but you really, the reality, if you're really trying to evaluate your baseball team, you would have lost all 3 series you've played against meaningful SEC opponents 2-1. So you would be 0-3 in series. You would be 3-6 against teams with, and I know Missouri's played some teams, but that's probably one of the 2 worst teams in the conference. You would be 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 in your other series. So I think it's really important they go out and get a sweep today, even though it doesn't look like they will. As we sit here today, it doesn't feel like it. You went through so much of your bullpen, but figure it out, find a way, and do it. And then how do you feel about things? You're a little more optimistic, or a lot more optimistic than the alternative. With that said, it's going to be such a tall order with the pitching. And you can compare it, and they compared it to 22, but you had Micah Dallas, Ty Detmer, and a little Prager. And I haven't seen anything so far from this side of the pitching staff to say that wasn't great pitching, but Detmer in 22 had been an ace and won a game in Omaha the year before.
Right.
And pitched twice in Omaha. He lost the first one, was tremendous in the second one. And that was the year before they had done that, right? And you did have Aschenbeck. And I don't know who we're comparing him to on this current staff, because I like Freshcorn, but Aschenbeck was a whole nother level. And Freshcorn I give him credit. He's out there competing every time he takes the mound. I'm not saying those other guys aren't competing. It's not, the staff is not producing. They're not getting the job done. And it was my concern coming in. We can break all this stuff down about Sadeo and you're not getting movement and this and that. It probably has something to do with him missing an entire year of baseball and having his arm cut on for a Tommy John surgery. That probably, if I'm a betting man, I'm not this great baseball bard, but I've played the sport growing up like everybody else did. I played it all the way through high school. I've been a fan since I was a baby. I mean, it probably has something to do with that. And don't tell me the timeline that most people return on are back to 100% and that they tend to oftentimes get better after Tommy John, because clearly he's not the same. And it worried me that you went into a season with your top 2 were going to be a guy off Tommy John and a guy coming from the bullpen who had never been a full-time starter. It's nothing against Tadeo and Moss. That's a tough ask for both of them, and that was kind of unquestionably going to be your Friday, Saturday. There wasn't really another path to that. So that concerned me, and we said all year those two had to be really, really good. That hasn't been the case yet. My flip side to that is I heard Scott talk about last year when they caught fire, and I've talked about it a lot. That was something that really gave me hope about this season was how they finished sans the Missouri game. Every series they played, they were anywhere from great to really good except Missouri. They got swept by Texas. They played really good baseball. 3-1, one-run losses. They beat Tennessee. They beat Arkansas, both on the road. They won a series against the national champs in LSU. They beat Mississippi State and Auburn in the SEC tournament. Even up at Georgia, they lost a close 1-1 loss, and Georgia was elite last year. My concern is when you try to compare it to that and say, well, this team could get hot. I understand they can, but you had Prager and Lampkin, and I know Prager wasn't doing what he had done the year before.
But he's still
Ryan Prager, and you had Prager and Lampkin on Friday, Saturday. And it was much, much different. And your Sunday starter act, by the way, was actually pretty good during that time period as well. And so there's really, to me, to try to compare it to anything else last year or 2022, I think you're just grasping at straws and reaching here and trying to find some kind of like ray of sunlight. The only ray of sunlight is going to come with better pitching, or if this team just today, they can give you a ray of sunlight if they go out today and score a combined 23 runs in 2 games, because then you'll have a real chance to win. And then, or, if maybe Sims goes out there and pitches well, which he's done in the past. So, but you're just going to have to mash and find a way to win this series.
If you get pretty good Weston Moss,
keep playing deeper into the season until, like you just said, like one of these pitchers finds it, and then see what that looks like. But they just have to keep and that was kind of what Bronny was saying about, he was saying get this series. What he meant, or if Vandy wins, he meant at least you got to win one today. Just keep looking up at the end of a weekend and going, okay, we're still in this thing. But man, it's so far from optimal, and I know they've had pitching injuries, and I don't know what happened. I don't know, did Earley address Vargas last night in the post game?
I don't remember him.
Did they say that was something that wasn't a big deal, or was it? That didn't look good, and then he got up and threw a couple warm-up pitches and came out. But look, the injuries to the bullpen have been, pretty devastating. But when I ask you who has pitched, like, at a, if you're grading, on a school grade scale here, who's pitched at a B+ or better?
Clayton Freshcorn and Aiden Sims.
Yeah, like if it's 2 of your whole, like that's the hard part.
And you're saying B and above, right? Like the rest of them have they're okay.
That's kind of putting it nicely with some of them. So but again, all it takes is one. Like if Weston Moss rolls out of bed today and
gives up 5-6 runs,
is what you know he is. Why you moved him from the pen to starting? Why you put so much stock in him? What he knows he is. If he's that guy today, then maybe you go, okay, we got some hope here. And like you said, it doesn't have to be 1 or 2 runs. But see, the problem is last year, you could get, I mentioned that Georgia series. Remember that? Was it 15 strikeouts Lampkin had against Georgia in Athens? Against that lineup? Like, you could get those type performances. They pitched lights out in Hoover last year. You can get, so far we haven't seen to where you really, truly think you can get that type of performance.
Well, if you do get something similar, like 10 strikeouts last night, you're giving up a bunch of home runs too, though.
Yeah. So, it is, the runs allowed is just, it's astonishing right now. What is it, 9+ in SEC play?
Yeah.
And we're what are we?
10 games in.
10 games in now. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not giving up on it, but if I was completely detached and just watching from afar, I would not look at the A&M team as a threat to do anything more than maybe sneak their way into a regional. That's what their play tells
so far
me.
suggests.
Their lineup tells me, I mean, I would hate to run into this team in a best of 3 or anywhere in the postseason, and that's an Omaha level lineup. But there's more to it than that. It's like in football saying, man, this is an amazing defense, but we can't score a damn point. You know, like that doesn't cut it. It doesn't work that way. So pitching's got to come on. I heard them talking, and I agree. They got to figure it out. And I don't think you can just sit pat and go, like I just said, well, hopefully Moss will have a great game today. Maybe Sadeo, when we play Texas, will just be lights out, and then it'll roll from there. You just can't count on that.
You can't. But if you get
action,
pretty good Weston and pretty good Aiden, and you win these next 2. I mean, I know it's a big if.
Yeah.
Then how does Monday's show feel talking about heading into the
No,
Texas
I agree.
game?
And the goal here was to win the series. It was not, winning game 1 in and of itself didn't matter. The big goal is to win the series. If they can go out and win this series, you're going to feel great about how the weekend went. You're still going to be, very concerned about pitching moving forward in this league against these teams with these lineups. But you will come out of that weekend and go, damn, we've won 5 out of 6 in SEC play. And I know one was Missouri, but one series you swept on the road, and you won 2 of 3 against a red-hot Vandy team that can mash. So, yeah, series did not end last night, but it's certainly, you put yourself in a big-time hole. That's the problem, and we all know this. Like, not only are you down 0-1 and have to win a doubleheader today, you're down 0-1 and have to win a doubleheader after throwing, 6 or 7 guys?
6 guys yesterday.
So, it's we'll see. You're just hope Moss and Sims have to just lock in and bring it against a great lineup. That's the problem. It's not just as simple as saying, hey, pitch good.
Yeah.
Because there's guys with bats in their hands. And unfortunately, that group's pretty damn good. But it's also like, you got to figure it out. So maybe the offense, you do have to say, lock in, draw walks, hit bombs, don't make errors, don't leave outs out there, and do everything else around the pitching to slug it out with Vandy and win a couple games.
All right, we'll head a break. We'll come back. A little football talk on the other side. Right now, Heritage Films are preserving family stories that would otherwise be lost forever. Chance McClain is the founder of Heritage Films, and he loves to tell people's family stories and making sure that family legacy is left intact for the generations that follow. These stories really help pave the future of the future generations because of what you learn about your family. And, we did it with my pops. It was great. I highly recommend it. You do it for your father, your grandfather, your mother, your family business, your family range. Leave the blueprint to success and what makes your family so uniquely your family by going to yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. All right, we're back. TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Wallow Insurance Studio. Lunch with Liucci. He'll be here in a moment. We've got Reese Nygren at the Angry Elephant Youth and Social Center. I got an update on the story.
Oh, what story? Jason Todd being the GOAT?
We're not doing GOAT talk anymore. Gort. He must have not listened because he usually texts me during the show if he hears something. So he'll find out later. Anywho. Remember we talked earlier about Greg Byrne saying, hey, future is we're probably going to get rid of the SEC championship game if we go to 2014 playoff. Well, Kirby Smart was asked about that.
Ooh.
And Kirby is kind of like the Nick of today, maybe, like his opinion carries more weight. Kirby Smart says the SEC championship game elimination depends on playoff parameters. So he wants a little bit more info. Apparently he talked to On3 and he says, I want to know what the parameters are before we did anything. Where are we right now with the 12 teams in the playoffs? I don't necessarily agree that it needs to quit being played, but if it does get to 16 or 24, we've got to move the end of the season and we've got to get everything done by the second week of January, then I'd say it's probably a go. Didn't really say anything there.
Yeah,
because
a lot of nothing.
I think what Byrne was saying was, if it's inevitable that we're going to go to 16 and 24, this needs to happen. And what he is saying is, okay, maybe it needs to happen, but let's move the season around a little bit and see how it plays out then.
Yeah.
He adds, the important thing is that we gain something, meaning we're playing that weekend in the first round of the playoff when the SEC championship game is normally being played in the season like an NFL playoff season. But if we're going to leave it where it is right now with 12 teams in the playoff, I'm not removing the SEC championship game.
Pumping. Yeah, I mean, I think if you do end up going to 16 and then 24, like OB said, you're just adding more games to a team season. Plus, because like the top contenders to win the national title play in the SEC championship game. So now all of a sudden I'm talking about I got to go through the entire 24-team playoff and play a
SEC
conference championship game. That's a lot of games. But like OB said, like the NFL does it. Like if that's your goal, then you got to do it.
Kirby weighed in, Kirby Smart, my good friend, on the whole thing. And he's like, look.
Ferb dog.
What's that? Ferbs. So do you agree with where Kirby is? Like, I'm not against getting rid of it, but I got to see how the schedule all lines up because if we're just wasting time, I want to still be playing that weekend. Where's your mic?
No idea.
He said, I have no idea.
I think Kirby's right in what he's saying. I hope it doesn't go that way.
So you want to keep the SEC championship game?
Yeah, I do. And some would say because A&M's never been in it, and I want them there, but that's not why. I like it. I love it's part of the fabric of the SEC. It is what we've all kind of grown up on. It's where like legends are made. I have noticed, though, in the last couple of years, now Alabama, because they got beat so badly by Georgia, as that game's going, you're like, wait, are they on the brink? But the reality is, in the 12-team playoff era, which is 2 years, all 4 teams that have played in that championship game are in the playoffs. So it does take a little away from that sense of urgency. I really like it in terms of, to me, it gives you something to chase in addition to the playoff. Even you look at A&M the last 2 years, they've been in the hunt for that game until the final
last game. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have not been able to solve the burnt orange riddle that has kept them out of the game for 2. But you've been interested in it as an A&M fan right up until Thanksgiving, and that's kind of it's still the primary goal. And I understand things will change and you'll get used to the current way, whatever that is. But I would love to see them just go to 16 and keep the championship game. Keep the championship games and go to 16. But I just feel like we are on a runaway train to 24.
We are. And does that runaway train, because I think Greg Byrne alluded to it earlier, does that runaway train eventually become 40?
Yeah, I mean, it's dumb. It's not basketball. You can't play games on back-to-back days. So then it's just like, what are we just going to start the year in the playoff? We have like 5 warm-up games and then go into a 40-team playoff. It's dumb. I think the whole thing's stupid. I know I'm exaggerating that, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, college football's regular season is great. And it's still great with 12 playoff teams. It might even be better because more teams have hope in November. But at some point, there's a tipping point where that regular season loses some of that intensity and some of that, that dire state that so many teams are playing in after their first loss and certainly after their second loss. Like when Florida beats Texas in, what was that, early October?
It wouldn't have had that
It felt
impact.
like the end of the world for Texas fans. And that's fine. That's great. Like when Notre Dame loses to Miami and they're playing A&M and their fans are sitting there in the fourth quarter in the second week of the season going, oh my God, if we lose this,
We may not make it, yeah.
that is what makes college football what it is. And if you take, 16, fine. Plus, you can have the same amount of weekends to play the tournament, right? If you just go 16-1, 15-2, and you just go from there.
But
right?
it's a gateway to more, though. That's what I worry about, is that they're going to keep wanting more. And I don't know.
Because everyone's going to want to be a part of it. It's the Cody Campbell era of college football. Nobody wants to be left out. Everybody feels entitled. And these leagues are going to want more. As soon as the SEC doesn't get as many in as they think they deserve, as soon as the Big Ten, it's nonstop.
What is your take on Cody Campbell? I mean, there's no doubt he is doing everything he can for his university and taking advantage of a system, but he's also arguing against that same system where he wants these parameters in there. He's not acting upon those parameters, but he's not acting upon those parameters because if you do, then you're left out.
I just think he speaks from a place where you just come right out and say it like, hey, I went to this school. I've given a ton of money to this school. I'm on the board now for this school. It means everything to me that my school doesn't get left out of the party. That my school is, that's it. This is about me and my school and my alma mater in Texas. I respect that. I'm fine with that. But I just feel like sometimes he's coming from a place that's almost like we're pretending that's not the case. And I think doing that is fine because there's a lot of schools like Texas Tech that wish they had someone like him, championing them. And that's kind of what he's, in a sense, doing. But this stuff this week, I thought he crossed over. The Texas Tech fans they're absolutely unbearable. I posted the deal the other day just saying, Amanda had said Texas plays 8 of the top 25 teams in the FPI, which they do. I mean, like, they're getting a real schedule this year. Texas A&M, I quote tweeted that, said A&M plays 6. I could have done a lot of other schools in that list that play like, I think Texas was the most with 8, but that play 5, 6, 4. Texas Tech plays none, 0, zip, nada. It's crazy. I'm not guaranteeing you sitting here today that A&M's going to beat Arizona State at home. They should, they need to, but that's going to be, regardless of outcome, probably no better than their 7th toughest game next year.
Yeah.
A home game against Arizona State is their toughest. And now they're afraid it's getting tougher because the league is trying to make them play, is trying to make them play on a Friday. Well, they're going to make them play on a Friday, and Texas Tech, I think the week before, is at Oregon State, like late night. That's a very late night. You're essentially getting home Sunday.
No matter what time you leave, yeah.
You're essentially getting home Sunday. So I understand, like, dude, that's our biggest game of the year, and you're going to put it on a Friday. Well, hey, you're at home, and he's acting like, you work for us. You're one of, how many teams are in that league now? 16?
Mm-hmm.
You're one of 16 teams. He works for the 16. You all signed a TV contract. Like, all these other teams have played these Friday night games, whether they like them or not. So just, again, saying this thing like Friday nights are sacred, it's Texas high school football. Where was all this when you were agreeing to this deal as a conference? Where was that? Or is this just because your team is going to have to play this massive game of the year on a Friday instead of a Saturday? Now, I do think it's stupid of Yormark and the conference to put their biggest showcase game on a Friday night. And you can think that that's going to be, it's standalone. I love college football. You love college football. We all do.
I don't always watch
How many
Friday.
of you are going to be, unless it's like an early A&M game, like it's going to be on in a TV at a bar. It's going to be on in the background of a restaurant.
It's not appointment viewing.
It's not appointment viewing. Play it on Saturday, and if you're Texas Tech and you win, or if you're Arizona State and you upset a top 10, top 5 Tech team, it becomes a massive story around college football. Not just something they talk about for 2 seconds on game day the next morning. So I think, the Big 12's making a mistake. That doesn't mean like they're wronging Texas Tech and there needs to be a complete
overhaul,
outburst and a riot over it. It is what it is. I mean, yes, voice your concern, say I think it's stupid, that's fine. But what they're trying to do is like force change with it. That part I think is ridiculous, as I do anytime a Texas Tech fan says, schedule us then, schedule us. They're so convinced that like Texas A&M and Texas and other schools are dodging them. It's like, no, I'm sorry we played Notre Dame. No, I'm sorry we did a home and home with Miami. I'm sorry we did a home and home with Clemson. Like there are other teams they'd rather play than Texas Tech. And when you say that and you jump up, well, playoffs. Texas A&M is one of a couple, 3 dozen Power 4 teams outside of the Big 12 that you could play. Yeah. And instead you're playing Oregon State. And I know there's a whole song and then there was Oregon and that was going to be the, I get it. But in the last couple of years, you've played no one. And it happens to coincide with when you're putting a legitimate team on the field. And I don't care that Oregon shut you out. And I think legitimate top 10 team on the field. And it's unfortunate that your schedule is what it is. But don't sit there and act like, no one wants to play big bad Texas Tech, because you weren't big bad Texas Tech. You were hot garbage Texas Tech until a couple of years ago. Now you're big bad Texas Tech. They're a real team, real players, and I think they got it rolling up there. Good for them. But you act like you're scheduling these games in the offseason like, hey, you know what? We feel bad for you, Tech. We're playing 9 SEC games this year. We're playing Arizona State. That was scheduled years ago. While you guys, it would have been way easier to play y'all than Arizona State or anybody. But yeah, let's schedule something for, maybe we'll do it mid-August this year. We'll get a waiver and play a football game in mid-August against you guys, in San Antonio or something. It's stupid.
Yep.
So, just like I think bitching about this Friday night thing is stupid.
We'll hit a break. We'll come back with more. It's TexAgs Live. Now we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci is still in studio. We had Jamarian Morrow in studio Tuesday, I think it was. Great interview. He is ready for it to be his time. You've got a bunch of guys in that. You're gonna go. Where are you gonna say?
I was just listening to you. He is ready.
I didn't know where I wanted to go with it.
It is his time.
Well, he believes it is his time.
I think it needs to be him and Ruben Owens. Like A&M. Like it could have been argued that even with those guys, you could have done yourself a real service by going out and getting another running back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they would have felt about it, but it's a competitive thing, and you need proven veteran running backs on your roster, and A&M's got one. I don't know if anyone's been as high on Jamarian Morrow as I have been since they signed him. I was out in front of that when they signed him. I was out in front of that when he got here in the offseason last spring and last fall in fall camp. And then people saw him play in a couple of spring scrimmages. Oh, who's that? Who's that guy with all those long runs? Then it was really the Florida game was like a breakout for him. He had a good one against LSU. He had some nice runs. He's got so much talent as a runner and pass catcher. I think his vision, from what I'm seeing out there, his vision looks, and like patience and those type things look a lot better. That's Trooper Taylor, and that's part of the evolution of a running back. And Trooper looked at his backfield and said, this is good enough. And for him to do that tells you how highly he thinks of Owens and Morrow, because the other guys are young and unproven. Edwards, Ride, all three of the young tailbacks who have. Edwards has been out for a lot of it. He's banged up, but Earley returns on him during like off-season conditions. Like he's elite. Things you just can't coach. Carson Baker, like those three backs to me. It's really nice, but Morrow and Owens have to be standouts for this to be, I think, the offense to be what it is. And you could get it from the other guys, and that'll be great. That's added to it. That's like last year's Morrow.
Right.
That's like, but he's got, I think Morrow has to take a step into being like a high-level SEC guy. And Owens, Marcel had some really interesting things to say about him the other day that I found kind of grabbed my attention just on how, and I know they're like best friends, and it's fine. But Marcel took it to another level in terms of the praise, and I've seen it out there at practice a few days. Ruben looks different. Great catch yesterday for what would have been a touchdown. He popped a long run, the last time I was out there at practice. But Morrow, the last couple of days to me has started to jump out. Where I'm like, okay, there he is. That's that dude. That's the guy I think we're going to see. So,
is there a Morrow in the wide receiver room this year? Because I feel like there's so much depth there, right? A veteran depth too.
Yeah.
But these freshmen, man,
and I don't want us to lose sight of TK Norman, because he was that freshman last year that kind of went, oh, wait a second, he's better than we were told he was by the scouting services. He's better than we thought he was in terms of recruiting hype and how excited people were to get him and keep him. And he's added, I think he looks noticeably thicker out there. He needed to add some weight, and he has. But out of that freshman group, all four of them take turns. Madden Williams made a couple of really nice plays yesterday. But to me, Aaron Gregory, again, another guy, I said, from the minute they got him, he should be a 5-star.
Yeah.
Should have been a 5-star. He's performing like it out there. He doesn't act or look like a freshman. So, yeah, even though it's a crowded receiving room, I do see him coming in and having an impact this year.
Okay. What a break.
The wild card at the receiver, by the way, is Jerome Miles. I like to sometimes remind people.
We still got him.
Of in a couple of days of practice last year, how sensational he looked. He's just not going to be back until fall camp, and then you'll get a feel for, how does he look after that season-ending knee injury?
We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a final segment here on TexAgs Live. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Roller Insurance Studio. Billy, during the break, I was telling you that I interviewed Jordan Lockhart. Really good conversation. The thing that I wanted to take from it is kind of like what you talked about at running back and at wide receiver. Lockhart was talking about competition is good. He goes, he also thinks it's his time, but he loves that the room has got so much competition because it's bringing the best out of him. Yeah. And that's what you want to hear from all position groups.
Physically, there's not a room that has physically, there's not a room that has made a bigger jump, in my opinion, in terms of like what they look like. And by the way, yesterday, Noah McHale, he's going to make plays in coverage. He's going to come downhill and affect the run game, and he's really, I think he's going to really get after the quarterback, and he was doing that yesterday. Had they not, had they been able to tackle the QB, I think Noah would have been one of those, like a 3-sack game for him. He has been absolutely, he's eye-catching out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at these guys physically. Sanford had a great hit on a little outlet, like a little running back out of the backfield play design. He blew it up. He would have destroyed the running back had it been a game. But Sanford, McHale, Lockhart, they lead the charge. Like what Coney looks really good physically. Like this is a group that if you watch them all walking in the room, that's a group of SEC linebackers.
Yeah.
They look like they're supposed to look like. And Sanford has on the field played like they're supposed to play like. McHale's flashed it. Lockhart's flashed it. Coney did it at Tulsa. And then even these young linebackers, you see them and you go, man, they're going to look. Queed Beck always stands out to me when I see him, like physically. But, yeah, they're a great-looking bunch. And so it starts there, and then obviously you got to have the guys making plays. But, again, I'm really confident at the top of that group and those guys getting it done.
I know it's way too early to be able to really evaluate the offensive line, but
it's way too early because they move it around every day. I had people yesterday going, "Oh, is that interesting that he's there?" It's like Tyler Thomas with the ones. I'm like, no.
They do this.
A, they're going to do it every day. B, I keep telling people like Tyler Thomas, Blake Ivy, Robbie Bourdon, and even Lamont Rogers. Like these guys are ascending. They're making moves and becoming much better players, especially those third-year guys like Bourdon and Ivy. But, again, remember how high they were on, like, Tyler Thomas, Nelson McGuire, Lamont Rogers when they were young. I don't think all four transfer portal guys will start along with Mark Naboo. I'll just take the field for at least one of those spots,
right?
You know, because there's so many guys that are developing. So between now and August, don't react much to first, second team on offense or defense outside of you'll see Searcy probably out there most of the time with the ones and DJ Hicks and Naboo. So that's 3 out of like 9 that probably will be your standard, your stalwarts, and then the rest of them are just going to be moving parts. So just watch the guys when they're out there, see how they do wouldn't be my advice, because I don't think the coaches today, if you said, hey, honestly, what would be your O-line for next year? I think they would say, well, they would probably start it with, if I had to guess, because basically what you're asking them to do is guess at this point.
Right. We've got about 2 minutes left, not even 2 minutes left, Billy. Back to baseball to close out for a quick moment. I do believe this weekend might come down to what Weston Moss does. Like, if he can give you
and keep you out of your bullpen for at least
because the Aiden's been really good.
Yeah.
If he can give you a good,
5
give up
innings.
4 or 5 runs, and the offense continues doing what the offense has done all SEC season, right? I think it sets you up great for that third game. If not, then I'm extremely worried.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing a white-hot baseball team. But that can change in, like I said, one
A&M was the white-hot team before.
It can change in one trip through the order.
Yeah.
If A&M comes out slugging. They need to attack like Vandy did. I don't care if Vandy was only up 2-0, but like to hit 2 home runs in the first inning off your starter, it sets a mental tone. Absolutely sets a mental tone. And A&M needs to be the one setting the tone this afternoon.
Awesome. Any final text, Reese Nygren, as we close out the program?
Not really. We did have Mel Kiper dropped his mock draft, his 3-round mock draft. He had KC going 27th to San Francisco. He had Cassius Howe going 31st to New England, and Chase Basantis staying in-state to the Texans at number 38.
Wow.
I'll take that.
That'd be cool. That'd be really nice. I'm fascinated to see which of the Aggies go first, because coming out of pro days, Basantis had the momentum. It seems like I get this vibe that like KC people are starting to kind of go, okay, let's just not put too much, dig him too much for this knee. And then with Cassius, I just think once a certain group of pass rushers are off the board, he's next no matter what.
Thank you, Billy. Happy Good Friday, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.